How's it going, Mullenites? I hope you're all having a great weekend. So this is probably my last video I do until we see what happens with tomorrow's shareholder meeting, or the rescheduled shareholder meeting. And I kind of, two little things I want to talk about. The first thing is like kind of looking at a little bit at what's going on with the shorts at the moment. And then secondly, I just want to talk about some of the scenarios that could possibly play out. So like following tomorrow. So I'll just quickly go. It's not going to be a long video. So with regard to the shorts, it's been quite interesting. So obviously in the coming weeks, there's been a bit of shorting action happening, which has kind of gone the other way. So as things have gotten more like unclear about what's going to happen with the reverse stock split, I think there's actually a bit of bets being hedged by shorts, so to speak. So shorts have started to return in higher numbers. So there's an increasing number of shorts available in Mullen Automotive at the moment. Still, the stock remains highly shorted at 13%. 13% of the float. And, the data cover is like still under a day, so it's not like a lot of pressure on short positions at the moment. But in saying all this, it's sort of giving us a suggestion that the shorts are even unsure about what's going to happen with Mullen Automotive, because there is a scenario where shorts are actually in a bit of trouble with this outcome. So if there is a reverse stock split, shorts obviously are probably going to stand to win. Like historically, reverse stock splits don't fare well for the share value, and it's a good time to be shorting a stock because it's riding down a little bit. But if there is like obviously a bit of retail pressure here that there might not actually be a reverse stock split, and if that's the case, and the company does get delisted on the Nasdaq, which would still take some time. Like we're not looking till after January. Like nothing's going to happen till after the January 22nd date, and so there will be more pressure on shorts to return, because if the Nasdaq does rule that the company needs to be delisted and go over the counter, the availability of shares becomes much more scarce, and therefore it's hard for them to cover. So I think we are sort of seeing a bit of caution being shown by some of the shorts. So it's kind of my take on what's going on. If you've got another opinion on what's going on with the shorts, drop it in the comments below. The other thing I want to talk about is it's kind of like a bit of an extension of if you've watched Business Dad's recent video about the possible scenarios that could play out following tomorrow's vote. Now, the first two, he goes through, obviously the most clear ones that we do enact a reverse stock split, that the Mullen board gets the votes. Alternatively, there is the pathway where it seems like the majority of the retail vote that, at least following my channel, want to see, and that's no reverse stock split. So there's no further erosion of value through that, and the company potentially gets moved into over the counter. For various reasons, obviously, some people wanted it as kind of retribution against David and the board for continuously destroying shareholder value with their management decisions, and some people just think it's going to give Mullen a fairer chance to show its value. So that's obviously a potential thing that could happen, and I guess there's a segue that there's still the possibility that there might be some future negotiations with the Nasdaq about how Mullen could regain compliance if they don't quite meet it by January 22, because it's not in stone. This isn't in stone yet for Mullen that they're going to get delisted, but it's they're very close. There's a good chance that they would get delisted, but we can always sort of say there's a possibility that might not happen even if they don't do the reverse stock split. Now, the third option is kind of, I guess, like one that maybe shareholders are really like hanging out for, but doesn't look like anything's forthcoming. But there's some sort of white knight moment that sort of helps bring back Mullen Automotive from the precipice of hell. And that's like, and that could play out even after tomorrow's vote. And that being that some sort of white knight figure, whether it be internal to the company or external, sort of comes and acts maybe as a bit of a catalyst that's going to, supercharge the stock and maybe get it back to $1 organically, and at least give Mullen some sort of room for negotiation with the Nasdaq. So the thing is, like Mullen, if they can ride out this period, and without getting delisted, come May 7th, I might be wrong on this, but sorry, May 4th, because May 4th this year is when they did their first reverse stock split of 1-for-25. If that date comes around, they're still listed, suddenly they actually have a lot more breathing room with how much they can do a reverse stock split by. It's not obviously ideal. We don't want to see them do another 1-for-25 stock split. We don't want to see them do any reverse stock split, but you know, that they do have that level of, they would be allowed to do it under NASDAQ listing rules again. So that is something, but it's hard to see the stock carrying itself through to May organically anyway. Anyway, back to this white knight point. The bit that business data sort of said, and it's actually very, very valid, is that, you know, if there was to be some sort of faith shown by the board, you know, like David and the board sort of come out and say that we're going to start buying back stocks out of our own pockets, and show that they're actively, you know, raising interest in the company. And even if they start executing some more of that $25 million buyback money that the company had earmarked to use for this year. Obviously, buyback's not great. I was never a fan of this because it's not from free cash flow, but you know, that could restore some faith to the company. So there could be this sort of internal, I guess, approach from the management to try and drum up support, because, and Visistad made the point that, you know, generally the retail investors are sick of throwing their money to try and support this stock. They don't want to do it. They just want the board to try and do something now, because, you know, we most of us don't have the sort of means that firstly the company does, and also that the management has, because they're obviously generally, some do obviously, but generally they're far better off, and you know, they're benefiting from our investments in the company. Now, there could also be the possibility of an external white knight that comes to the fore. So if you just look at Mullen Automotive purely from its physical hard assets it's got and the market cap it's sitting at right now, there is the potential for, you know, someone to come in and buy a large stake in the company, and, you know, maybe even take a controlling stake. Whether or not there's you know, like enough shares available publicly every day to do so, it's hard to say. But, you know, like I know a lot of people kind of think like the dream would be Elon Musk stepping in here and just swooping in and buying Mullen for its assets, which isn't like a stupid idea. Like Elon Musk, you know, the whole Twitter takeover thing he did, he saw it as an undervalued opportunity to get into the social media space. Elon Musk and Tesla or some other big EV company could see this as pickings to try and, you know, take over, and they could, you know, obviously do what they want with the assets. That might mean down the track that there might be no more Mullen. It might be just they use the assets to the benefit of their own company. But it could be something that, you know, in the case of Tesla, if they took over Mullen, because of the lines that Mullen are producing vehicles and technology, it's not actually directly competing with Tesla. They're actually kind of at the moment at least complement, or at least providing a service for an alternative market, I guess, or they're catering for an alternative market. So, you know, there is some logic there. You know, either way, that there could be an external white knight come and save the company. But you know, crazier things have happened. But, you know, I'm not, you know, going to hold my breath on this one. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the weekend, and, you know, I look forward to seeing what happens on Monday, I guess. I hope you guys all doing well. Share your thoughts on it all in the comments below. It's always great to hear from you guys. Until next time, may the markets trade in your favor, and fingers crossed we get the resolution you guys are looking for from tomorrow's meeting. Take care, everyone. Cheers.